Afternoon. This is Dr. Pabon. I am your professor for EdD 720. I'm so sorry that I could not be there this evening. Actually, I've had some complications with oral surgery, so you'll see I'm still a bit swollen here and actually lucky that I can speak clearly at this point in today. So again, many apologies because I was really looking forward to meeting all of you in person. But we will do that in 2 weeks. The purpose of this video is to share an overview of the course, some of the items that we would have discussed had we met today, and just orient you just a bit and set you up for things to do across the next 2 weeks before we meet in person. So just to share a little bit about myself, I'm a professor of urban education. I began my career teaching in urban schools in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, and I taught secondary English and social studies for about a decade and was a literacy staff developer. I transitioned from the classroom into a doctoral program where I studied urban education, and my dissertation focused on the life histories of black male teachers in the United States. Black male teachers represent less than 2% of the U.S. public school labor force, and their life experiences became really salient in my own career, but also sort of beginning to capture this phenomena. So I share that part of myself to just give you like a tidbit of information about me, but also to help you begin to consider how something that a topic, an issue, an idea that emerges in your classroom or your professionally education related field can begin to spark your topic for your doctoral research. And my question, my ideas certainly began to emerge right when I was a classroom teacher, and I began to notice that all of my colleagues who were folks who identified as men and identified as black were those folks who worked as custodians or discipline deans, and typically those were the two domains, and very few teachers who are my counterparts. So my question certainly began out of my practice, and my research to date continues to focus on the life histories of diverse teachers and also the schooling experiences of diverse youth in secondary schools. And my content area is in English. So I am the advisor for the MED Initial Certification Program, as well as the coordinator for the MED English Certification Program. I'm sorry, the MED Certification Program, and the advisor for the English students who are pursuing their doctorates in, their master's degrees in English education. So just a bit about me, and I'm happy to learn more about you when we meet in person and potentially online in these first few assignments. So I'll just share with you a bit of the course description. This course, and even the title of this course, right, uses this term at risk. And we'll talk and begin to deconstruct what we mean when we say at risk and the range of meanings when we say at risk. So that's one of the reasons why we're reading Kefferlin Brown's book after the at risk label. But to go back to the course description, and I'm reading just here from the syllabus, the course addresses the development of more effective interventions for what I'll say is students labeled as at risk, with a focus on children in poverty and children suffering social and emotional risks. So you as learning associates will examine social initiatives to improve academic performance, to reduce social and emotional risk, promote their development, and then also consider initiatives that nurture strengths and resiliency. So the rationale for this course, just sort of moving on in the syllabus that will be uploaded on D2L for you to look at as well. is for you to gain some understanding about topics related to social justice issues, right? Students being identified as at risk is connected to this concept of social justice, which is again a concept that we will unpack in class. Um, so this course has been developed to further your learning on effectively and ethically responding to expressions, acts, or policies that devalue other persons or persons identified as others or othered from a multicultural perspective, and to develop better understandings about human dispositional qualities associated with facilitating transformative change in individuals and classrooms. So the idea here, and if some of you may have met with me at an open house, is that we're very focused in this program and certainly in this course on the capacity for teachers to be agents of change, right? To be change agents who can work towards equity-based policies and practices, and I would even suggest liberatory practices and policies for schools and classrooms. So you'll look at the syllabus and you'll see some of the course objectives at the bottom of page 1, and then the course outline where it repeats this notion that we'll be discussing these concepts. What do we mean when we say at risk? What do we mean when we say social justice? What are the diverse populations that we're referring to? So all of those are listed there on page 2 of your syllabus. And then all of the readings for the course are also listed. The required text that I asked you to buy was Kefferlin Brown's After the At-Risk Label, Reorienting Educational Policy and Practice. And the second text that I asked you to purchase was Antoinette Ferguson's Bad Boys. Both of those texts, when I checked as of yesterday, were in the library. In the bookstore, and there are copies on reserve in the library. Please get those texts as soon as possible because we will be needing, first we'll be needing Antoinette Ferguson's book, which is very easy to get. So obviously your campus resources, but there are many other resources available to get you that book in a quick turnaround. On pages 3 and into 4, there are some of the university policies, and it's just, these are both important and necessary for me to share. So there's accommodations that are available through the Disability Services Office. So please, if you have a disability that I need to be made aware of, and there are accommodations that I need to make in the classroom, please contact that office. You could also have a discussion with me, but that is the office that sets up those accommodations. So please do so as soon as possible. I know that students were receiving their letters as of Monday, the first day of classes, so reach out to them for sure. Academic honesty is obviously, real plainly, says don't cheat and don't plagiarize. Well, this is a doctoral course, so sort of that idea of like cheating is pretty complicated because I'm asking for you to present original thoughts. But plagiarism can happen, unfortunately, a little bit easier than one thinks when we're not utilizing citation properly. So part of what you'll do, a skill that we'll develop in this course, is how to cite correctly so we avoid these unintentional plagiarizing. I know this is a work in progress. I know that folks may have come from different referencing traditions, so MLA, or Chicago style, but APA is the citation module manual that we utilize for the social sciences. It is very important that you learn these, and we'll continue to practice in this course, and you'll continue to practice throughout your program here. as you develop and get closer to developing a dissertation. Um, in terms of discrimination, that's the policy statement that's at the bottom of page 3. Kutztown University is committed to eliminating discrimination based on race, religion, color, national origin, ancestry, sex, gender, age, and disability. And I am a mandated reporter. So these topics we take very seriously, in particular gender-based crimes like sexual assault and domestic violence. I am a resource that folks can look to relative to any incidents that are potentially discriminatory in nature. The last university offering or policy that I want to outline is the University Writing Center. This is a free service, but free and wink wink because everybody pays tuition, right? So this is a service that's available to all students, and I really, really encourage everyone to take advantage of the Writing Center. It's not at all meant to suggest that you don't know how to write or that you're not a good writer. But even for me, as someone who's a scholar and a published scholar in many academic journals, I take advantage of a copy editor, right, to help me out with my work. I need another set of eyes, so I look to my colleagues. And before I submit anything for publication, usually 3 or 4 people have looked at it. Some of them my friends, but at least one person that I'm paying for. So you have this awesome service here that you could take advantage of. And particularly when it comes to that citation piece, students that have taken my course, this is the third iteration of this course, third year of this course, have benefited significantly from going to the Writing Center and getting that second set of eyes to help. And that may even be related to just ideas that you may need to develop more. And those folks there, you'd be paired with a graduate student who is in the Writing Center are amazing. So we have a strong Writing Center here on campus. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of them early. Don't wait till the end of the semester because then it gets super crowded. Then it's hard to get in. So shout out the Writing Center as soon as you can. I'm going to just move down to assignments, and I don't want to make this video too long. I can jump back on and make a platform to answer questions elsewhere and just sort of share with you that I'm generally available to answer questions via email. And so I'm happy to do that. So no questions too silly. So please feel free to ask me. But I want to keep this video brief. So you'll have just let's see, 4 major assignments. Yes, so you'll be using discussion board and discussion board posting and responding, and so you'll see the platform about that. I typically provide for all of these the criteria, the posts that you're responding to. You'll see that in your calendar, and the purpose of this is to demonstrate your understanding of the week's readings, understandings and misunderstandings, right? So whatever your thinking is about the reading that was assigned, and then responding to at least peer in such a way that thrusts the conversation forward to encourage debate. So how are we going to sort of bring those ideas to bear in our writing? So you're developing those writing skills, but you're also developing those critical and analytical skills that are necessary for doctoral work. So you'll notice that those assignments are often due, the discussion board, there's 5 of them this semester, and they're due on the weeks that we're not meeting for our 2 major texts in the course. In the weeks that we are meeting, you don't have to do a discussion board post, but I do ask that you bring in your notes, your ideas, whatever you have jotted down about the reading, as well as any article, a journal article that you come across because you've been hanging out at Beakey Library and doing some of their research on EBSCO, or a newspaper article, excuse me, that relates to a theme in the reading. So anything that you find appropriate, And if you have a question, if the resource you have is appropriate, you can feel free to email me the article ahead of time. I could take a look and say, absolutely, bring that in, or hey, I'll take that and make some copies so that everyone can share, and ask you to lead part of the conversation on that. I get really excited when students bring material to bear in the classroom that's connected to a text that we're already reading. For both of those major texts that we'll have, there is a critical literature